I have the privilege here of bringing the ladies to this side of the house. So we are very excited to continue on this conversation with our sororities. And so I'm Janiyah Lake, the Deputy Director with dfree Global Foundation. We'll go around quickly. I'll let everybody introduce themselves and what organization they're from. And when you start with your organization, will you also let us know some of the community work you're working on right now?
I have another sheet of states.
Ms. Tracy Brown?
Oh, me, I'm up. Hi, hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Tracy Brown. I'm a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I am the Northeastern Region Social Action Coordinator. Actually, one thing that is in the fire right now, we're going to start up a phone bank using a database to call. We're getting started now, but we'll start in earnest in September. The closer it gets to election time, to start calling folks to make sure that that they go vote, and that's what's in the fire for us right now.
Excellent, so needed. Thank you for joining, Ms. Gina Epps.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Janiyah. I am Gina Merritt Epps. I am the Atlantic Regional Director for Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and I'm so proud to be here today, and thank you for having me. There are so many projects, as you asked that question, that we're working on, but really at the forefront of my mind right now is our brand new international initiative for domestic violence prevention, and our new international committee, as well as our representatives at the regional, state, and chapter levels. So that is so needed and such an uptick during this time that that's really what sticks out in my mind as what's one of our key programs. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. All such needed programs. Hello, Ms. Carmen Mcclendon. Oh, I think you're on.
About that. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carmen Mcclendon. I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I am the chair of the Economic Development Subcommittee. Before I move on, I'd just like to acknowledge our national president and CEO, Beverly E. Smith, for allowing us an opportunity to partner with dfree as we move our membership and communities toward debt-free. One of the major initiatives as part of the long history that Delta Sigma Theta has in the community. Right now, it's our census and voter education and registration drives. That is vital, that is critical to our communities. We must take a stand. We must use our collective voices to make a difference for our communities.
Wonderful, wonderful, thank you. Hello, Ms. Harriet.
Hi, how are you? My name is Harriet Ragnall. I'm the president of the Beta Alpha Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and we service Newark, Hillside, and the Irvington areas. And at Alpha Kappa Alpha, we have quite a number of international platforms and targets that we focus on, one of them being building your economic legacy. So underneath that, we do have the importance of personal financial planning, asset accumulation, credit and repair, and supporting Black businesses. And we also are focusing on getting out to the vote as well as the census. So those are things that we are also lined up to do within our community, especially during this very critical time in our history, in our nation's history.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. That really sets us up to really dig into the conversation here. You guys have a lot of your sorority sisters in the chat. So welcome everyone. We're very glad to see you all represented so well. But let's just get into, as we're talking about the community work that you're doing, how have you all had to shift with some of the things you're doing in response to, COVID-19, as well as the social justice issues that are happening? Ms. Tracy?
Well, we have on our national leadership has directed our membership, our chapters, to be unique and innovative in how they carry out our sororities program. So, for instance, we're doing a lot of webinars, and again, like as I said, for our registration drive. It'll be by phone banking this election year. We did have back in March and April a webinar series called We Are Sigma Strong. There were 6 webinars, and one specifically that pertains to this conference. We had one called Being Smart with Your Money. And we also had another one called Preparing for an Uncertain Job Market. And that was open to the public. We promoted it, advertised it. It was open to the public as well as to our sorority members and affiliates.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Miss Gina, how is Zeta Phi Beta? How are you all adjusting with COVID and the social justice work that's happening in our communities as well?
Yeah, I think pivot is the correct word. Our international president, Valerie Hollingsworth Baker, that is her key, her key word, how you have to adjust, particularly for Zeta Phi Beta in our centennial year. So you heard me talk about the Domestic Violence Prevention Initiative. We have always served the community under our Z Hope umbrella. Zeta's helping other people excel. But we saw the need to pull out domestic violence because, as you can imagine, even with children, if they're not in school, there's no teacher to mandatory report. You don't have access to getting help if everyone is in the same household. So pulling that out and setting up that structure, I think, was one key way that we pivoted. Our social action umbrella, just as with my sister Greeks, is very active. And underneath social action, it's get engaged. And that means we know the issues, we know we're outraged, we know that we're mad. How do we channel that? And so under get engaged, we give specific initiatives and toolkits to say this is how you channel and focus your outrage and your passion via letter writing. If you're going to protest, this is how you protest. So it's about giving people specifics and how you do things. And then I would like to highlight as well our last, a signature initiative under Grant Hollingsworth Baker's program is Zeta Sings the Blues. And that's just the catchy title for our mental health initiative. Mental health stress is real. And so we have pivoted and made sure that we have mental health programs, just as Tracy said, that are virtual. Sometimes just simply reaching out to someone just to see how they're doing and really listening, or via Zoom, making sure that they are indeed okay. And of course, I have to give the pitch to dfree. As you know, we not only are partners on the national level, but what's required in our region is to have a dfree coordinator, not just broad economic empowerment, but an actual dfree coordinator on the regional, state, and chapter level, so that we make sure that we are partnering with you to get the word out, to distinguish between what's a want and a need, and to make sure we're not addressing our issues via retail therapy.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We're very excited about our joint initiative that we're doing as well. Ms. Carmen, tell us how Delta's pivoting and the work around COVID-19 and the social justice and the community work.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated has had a long history as it relates to social action. For many of you all, our first act as a sorority was the Women's Suffrage March. So that we continue to vote, as I said, focus, as I said earlier, on our voters' education and registration drives. During these times of the pandemic, as well as the racial injustice pandemic, it is critical that we use our collective voice, not just Delta Sigma Theta, but our communities. It is vital that we use our voice to make a difference so that our elected officials can hear us, because politics are local. There is power in our collective voice, and it's critical that we mobilize together, not just, as I said, Delta Sigma Theta. It's everybody, all the communities. You must mobilize and make a difference for those in your communities and families.
Excellent. Ms. Harriet.
Yes, under our international president, Dr. Glenda Glover, we've changed gears and we've moved everything to a virtual platform so that nothing is in person, in order to, be in line with all the recommendations in regards to our health. And so what we have focused on doing is setting up webinars and reaching out to the people that are most vulnerable. For example, We send supplies in Newark to several homeless shelters. We also provided meals to some hospital workers during the early portion of the pandemic. So we have been very actively involved within our community, even on a chapter level. So we have over 1,000 chapters and all over the United States and internationally, we've been addressing this issue. And one thing that we're really focused on as well is getting out the vote. And so we have our virtual campaign where we're calling on everybody to vote and also paying special attention to the census. There's a fear that if you're not legal, that you should not, that you're in some danger. But we're really expressing to everyone, it's so very important for people to respond to the census, or else we will not be counted. And everybody needs to be counted. So it doesn't matter whether you're legal or illegal. That's an important step that you have to take in order for us to know, in order for us to get the services that are required in our communities. So those are some of the things that we're doing. But on an international level, we're really just focusing on those things and ensuring that we are meeting the needs of our individual communities that we serve. Additionally, we're still focusing on supporting Black businesses during this time. It's really, everyone knows that economics is power. And so it's really important for us to use the power of our dollar, the Black dollar, to show who we are and the effects that we can have. So those are just some of the things that we're doing in our organization. And like I said, as a chapter on our each individual level that we're doing in order to encourage those actions.
That's excellent. That's excellent. It's super important, and we're very pleased to be partnered with many of you in that same work. So as we look at those initiatives and, economic empowerment and financial needs and education comes within a lot of those same initiatives as well. How can dfree further the work through the partnerships that either we, have long standing, like we have with Delta, we're just starting with Zeta, or some of the work that you're doing? How can we support that when we look at economic empowerment within those initiatives? Ms. Tracy.
Oh, I thought you started with Zeta Phi Beta rep. So my sorority Sigma Gamma Rho, we're not partners, I guess yet. I was thinking that so we focus on the youth with our financial education that we provide. We focus on the youth. So I did look at your website. I didn't see much focus there, but it's more focused towards adults, but that can be carried down and edited for a different audience. And I would think if that were possible, then we could communicate about how to make that happen, a partnership happen.
Absolutely. We have a really robust youth programming. So we are happy to support any spaces with the economic initiatives. Ms. Gina, tell us how we can support, some of the work that you're doing or enhance even the partnership that we've gotten off the ground.
Absolutely. I did know for our regional conference, you did highlight your youth programs. And so all of us, including Zeta with our youth auxiliaries, I think that's a way that we can partner with the our Arcanets, our MECATs, our Pearlettes, as well as our undergraduates and make that partnership stronger. But as I'm looking at the chat and everybody that's participating here today, the key thing is unity and collaboration. I think it's very scary to think what we could do if the 9 organizations came together to collaborate to address all of our issues, including the economic issues. So I'm not sure if it's been done yet, but I would love to see dfree not just partner with the individual organizations, but really aligned with the Council of Presidents and the National Panhellenic Council so we can stop this tradition of everybody doing the same thing separately. I think as we go into our conferences for this year and we have these virtual conferences, this is an opportunity for dfree to partner and have time in our conferences, in our virtual workshops, and when the world opens back up prayerfully soon, to make sure that you not only have, not a booth, but you have an actual workshop slot that you speak to the delegation at large to make sure that you understand, and especially for Zeta with our coordinators, that we understand and push this message with dfree. I know that my sorors are loving the lunchtime sessions that you had and sponsoring those, and Zeta Phi Beta was happy to co-brand that with you. Everyone loved the takeaways. If you can continue to do the handouts and the charts and the things that we can give away, those takeaways are key. And the recordings are great, but some of the feedback that I got was lunchtime was great, but when you're working home virtually, you need to, you say I have 12 o'clock free, and of course there's a 12 o'clock call that gets scheduled. So maybe considering moving some things to the evening while we're in this virtual space. But I do look forward to continuing that. But we want you to be an integral part, and I can't speak enough about what we're leaving on the table when we don't work together.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for that feedback. We work hard on those webinars too. So it's great to hear that people love them. You guys always show up really strong in those webinars as well. So we love that. Thank you. Ms. Carmen, how can we continue the work that we're doing together and further the work that we're doing together when we look at economic empowerment?
Well, first of all, thank you, dfree organization, for being a partner with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We've had phenomenal success with the programs that you've shared with us. We have many chapters that's participating, many soros that are participating. We've reduced $7 million of debt. What we'd like to see is for you to continue your efforts, reach out, engage more, not just our organization, but as Gina said earlier, it would be phenomenal if all of the organizations combined together undertook these initiatives and made a difference. And we talk about mobilizing. Let's mobilize our collective voice and strength to make our communities debt-free. And lastly, we're anxious as a sorority to see more information about the senior entrepreneur component. So we look forward to that. We'd like to see what that looks like, to see how it can benefit our sisterhood as well as our families and communities.
Excellent. You two have me taking notes, so I'm definitely writing down some things. I think we're going to be, connecting after this conference. So that's great stuff. So Ms. Harriet, tell us about Alpha Kappa Alpha. And I know we have some chapters that have gotten started and such, but how can we help further the work that you all are doing as well, and around specifically economic empowerment?
I would say that we should continue the partnership that we have with you. I know on a chapter level, we do partner with you, and we have a series of workshops where we address, personal finance, credit repair, retirement savings, and again, entrepreneur. We have a Black directory of businesses that we have started, and I believe actually there's another chapter of Delta Sigma Theta that also has one, and so we would also like to compare notes with them as well, so that we are all working together to empower our businesses. But I would say that we should continue on with that partnership. It falls right in line with our target platform for economic literacy. I mean, everything down to the savings, economic education. And it's so important, especially because the community that we serve is Newark, Hillside, and Irvington. And many of those places, we have a depressed population. And this is the information that they need to know so that they can move on to the next level. And so anything that we can do on that level is amazing. When we were opened up, we would do things locally. We also partnered with University Hospital, so we have events there, places that people can take the bus to if they want to get there. We also did a number of activities at the homeless shelter that we support as well, shelters, and that's what they ask, as we support as well. So we would want to continue that, but while we're able to do it virtually, we'd like to continue it virtually. And of course, partnering with our sister chapters within New Jersey and the D9 chapters in New Jersey, which we do partner on several other events and programs that we have. We would want to continue that, and we want to see that grow. So that's how I think we'd be able to really get some legwork done within the communities.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Sounds like we have some more things coming out maybe from all of us. We have a lot of conference participants. I see a lot of your soror sisters on here, but with this time of virtual, people are able to engage in, community activities or programs for people that are on here, how would they participate in some of these initiatives that you're doing out in the community, or learn more about if they want to get involved with some of these outreach programs that you're doing? So Ms. Tracy, for the participants, how would they connect with your organization to learn about, you know, some of those programs that they could participate in?
I would say sgro1922.org. We post activities there. That's our national website. Definitely Facebook. Every chapter has a presence on Facebook. If you're on Twitter, most chapters I know, and on our national level, we tweet. we optimize Twitter. So Twitter, Facebook are in our national, and just Google. You can Google, you know, and to search for your local Sigma Gamma Rho chapter. Put in the town, put in Sigma Gamma Rho, and see what comes up. If it's not on their website, give them a call. They'll have the contact information, email or a call.
Right. Excellent. Thank you, Miss Gina. How would someone find out about some of the initiatives that you're sharing today?
I also, as Tracy indicated, social media, and I want to emphasize official social media because we want to make sure that people are at the proper sites and getting the appropriate information. But I think the lifeline of Zeta continues to be the work that our chapters do. And so I would really encourage people to research and look for the outreach at the chapter level. I know that, you know, we're going to talk about specific programs and things, but I really think that if you go to websites, if you want to contact the region, we have obviously a great directories and things, but I would really look for chapter people to look for the specific programs that we're doing. When your focus is service, it's very easy to kind of look out and see exactly what the programs that are being done throughout the community. There's always, you know, public relations. I would like to say that, you know, the organization does a great job of making sure we highlight the key things. I know a lot of people saw a press around the $100,000 scholarship that we gave, the largest one-time scholarship from a Greek letter organization, to make that's out there. And so reach out to us to find out how you can, you know, be empowered with respect to that, because we'll be doing that for the next 4 years. So I would agree with Tracy, while we're home, make good use of official social media platforms, and to really just look for, you know, politics is local and so is community service. So to look for what our chapters are doing in Zeta.
That's excellent. And, you know, we've been encouraging, this is a good time for people to, you know, tackle that social media if they don't have it, just start to get connected while we're all digital. Yeah, we've had a lot of people join us for webinars that have never been online, you know, and join us for, you know, our first virtual conference. So this has been really great. Ms. Carmen, how would you encourage the people that are looking for, you know, Delta programming in their communities to find Delta?
Most importantly, for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, please go to our national website, www.deltasigmatheta.org. And as my fellow panelists have stated, official social media. There's a lot of different things out there, but the official social media. And also, Harriet, thank you for recognizing Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated Red Pages. That's a comprehensive directory of our entrepreneurs. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Ms. Harriet, how does Alpha?
Yes, we do work together. Well, I would send everyone, of course, to our official page, which is aka1908.org. And that's where you can learn about all of our initiatives, all of our targets, and what we do underneath each target. And of course, locally, what we do on the chapter level. As I mentioned, we focus on the areas of Newark, Hillside, and Irvington, but every chapter within our sorority has their own service area. So I would recommend that you just go on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter. You know, if you if you plug in Alpha Kappa Alpha, you're going to get the chapters are going to come up, and you can find one in your community. And even if you go on our international page, our corporate website page, you'll be able to locate the chapter in your area if you'd like to participate in some of the community service that we're doing right in your own community. So that's one way to reach us. And again, of course, betaalphaomega.org, and we are on Instagram and Twitter as well as Facebook.
Excellent, excellent. We're seeing a lot of hearts over here in the chat too. All of your colored hearts. That looks great. So as we close out, we'll close out for the folks that have joined us today. What message would you like to leave the participants as they move from crisis to clarity? What gem would you leave those that are on with us? So Ms. Tracy, what would you give as closing?
I'd like to share something. There's a Black lady named Michelle Singletary. She's a financial writer for the Washington Post. She's written several books as well. And she said something recently about these times that we're in and these COVID times that we're in. And it's about fear. You know how fear can cripple us or just stop us in our tracks. She said, feel what you fear, but act on the facts. So if the fact is that you may unfortunately be being evicted or losing your home, don't let the fear stop you from acting. You know, you may need to call, see who you may have to live with. If you're in a state or a city or a county that has abated evictions, landlords from evicting you, find out, make that call, do what you can for yourself.
Excellent, thank you. Yes, face the situation. That is a dfree, tip as well, as people are facing their financial fears and emotions and situations. Miss Gina, what would you share as a gem as we close out?
I had a few. Some of them I mentioned. I can't emphasize enough how much I learned from your sessions. And people, we have to reassess your wants versus your needs. I think that when we first got into COVID, we found ourselves overbuying, doing the retail therapy thing. We over-purchased in groceries and toilet tissue and things. But as COVID has unfortunately dragged on, we have really stopped to and really look, do I really need this? Do I really need to buy that? And I'm all about supporting our brothers and sisters that work for Amazon and UPS and companies like that. But we have to make sure that we're actually getting what we need and not spending. This is a great opportunity to save money, because for a while you couldn't get your hair done, couldn't get your nails done. You're not driving to work. You're not having the car insurance. So what a perfect time to take that away and just save. So I would just have to take away, save your money, say things that, they canceled my gym membership. Put that money aside and put that toward a bill. Just look for ways to save. I would like to raise again mental health. It is okay not to be okay. And we as Black women tend to take on, everything is okay. A lot of these COVID situations are highlighting personal problems. Let's deal with them. Let's not be afraid of therapy and not always feel like we have to be strong for everyone else. I would like to also emphasize, a lot of companies, Amazon and other great global companies, are looking for ways to empower our youth and give them direct pipelines into internship programs. And that's something that Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated is working on. How do we get these our youth who are their home, but they still are going to school and have to get a degree and get an education? So making sure that they get those opportunities for training. And then I would just close with, to my sister Greeks, train, train, train. We have so much talent. Let's have workshops and sessions on wills and saving and budgeting. And I'm happy to see the members of Zeta, have those sessions virtually to deal with just the practicalities, because beyond empowerment, we really just need to get back to the basics of helping each other. There are people that need food. There are people that need book bags, backpacks if they're going back to school. And again, let's continue to provide those scholarships. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ms. Carmen Mcclendon, closing out with some gems for your Deltas and for our larger audience.
Apply the principles of dfree. Join the movement. Be diligent about finding opportunities in the crisis. Take the time. We have a lot more time now that we did previously. Leverage social media. Find out what's going on in the industry, educate yourself, make sure that you're taking the time to be purposeful, strategic, as well as making a difference for your communities and families while taking care of yourself financially and, as Gina has said many times, mentally. But join the movement to become financially free.
Excellent. Thank you. That was just what I was going to say. Thank you, Miss Harriet. What tools, gems would you also leave with your soror sisters and the larger audience?
What I would say is don't let this time in history pass without you making yourself better, without you improving yourself. So I would encourage people to focus on educating themselves, read, learn financial literacy, take this opportunity to reassess your life. We're so used to ripping and running and we're doing so many things. And for the first time in many, many years, people have actually had to sit still and not go anywhere. And while, we're Zooming and we're on, virtual calls, we're still in our homes. So this is a great time to not just, as everyone else said, retail shop or to just, eat. Take the time to make yourself better. Take the time to look at your life and reflect. And maybe when this is over, for the first time in many people's lives, they're having a chance to sit by themselves and learn about themselves. If you have a business that you want to start, now is a great time to do that research to start that business. If you want to connect with somebody else, now's a great time. Think about what direction you'll see your career going in. So that I would encourage people to not let this time in history pass without doing something. When you look back, you can say before and after COVID, this is what I accomplished. And of course, continue to fight for our equal rights. Continue to be to make sure that your voice is heard, and that's registering to vote. Call people to register them to vote. Even if you're not sure, reach out to them. Encourage everyone to do that because this is a very, very important election, and we really need at this time everybody, all hands on deck. So I would encourage people to take this time to also read, learn about politics, watch the news, but it's in bites because we can go a little crazy, but just to continue to educate yourself about these things. And that's what I would encourage people to do during this time.
Well, thank you so much. This has been such a pleasure. You guys are all, I know I said gems, you guys are all jewels in this crown. I love this collaboration. I love to see the work that you're doing. I love the partnerships that we've launched, and it sounds like partnerships that, are on the horizon as well, as we all work to help people with, the social justice, the COVID, and how their finances and economic empowerment show up in both of those spaces. And so thank you. I appreciate you all so much for joining. This has been a wealth of information, and we look forward to continued work together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, ladies.
Bye-bye.